Hey, everybody. It's Citizen Rez again, and you probably in these videos I'm not gonna edit um, as extensively as I do in my Resonator Zen videos, and sometimes I do it really extensively, and sometimes I don't. But this one is just gonna be unabridged shit of just me talking with all the silences, and all the things that I usually have when I talk, um, like that. This is gonna be sort of another introductory video, but this is going to be of my art and my writings and my whole perception on life. My dark perception of life I still sort of have. Now, this is a character who I have the story for, and I really haven't written it down in a while. It's Shinzu Miyamoto, as I said in my introductory video. He's a classic tragic hero. He tries to do good, but bad things keep happening to him, and it just sort of drives him deeper and darker into his own realm of psychosis, and just drives him. And it really does just, the whole story revolves around him committing suicide at some point in the storyline. I have the beginning and the end. I don't have the intervening parts, and I sort of have the epilogue set up, but I don't have any of the other things fleshed out. And I could go on and on about that, and I probably will in a later video. If you really want me to, I'll go on about my character, his story, and how it's sort of a parallel. But let's. I know all my shit looks battered. I never throw anything away. Hell, this folder is fucking like 7 years old, I think. Maybe 6 years old. I have Insomnia on there because it was going to be one of my companies I was going to start, and comics I was going to start. It has Angry Jesus, Laughing Man, Voodoo Dez, Zombie Dog, all characters in my comic. It's a pretty dark comic. It sort of revolves around just the second coming of Jesus. He comes down and he's all pissed off about how things get done in his name, and he can't understand why people would have crosses and things like that, and Voodoo Dez and Zombie Dog and Bag of Bones and Hannibal and all these different people are and it's a really dark take on like the way religious people look at things, and I haven't really fleshed out the story all that much past certain things, but I am going to. And my my writing my writings are very dark, and my drawings are very dark, and I think that sort of is due to my perception of the world. And the reason the perception of my world is so dark, I guess, is because I've had to face my mortality a little more than once. When I was really young, I had gotten hit by a car, and I mean, even then, I was a wise ass about it. I was in the ambulance, and they asked me if I was alright, and I had the wherewithal to say, I got hit by a car, how do you think I feel? I mean, what young kid actually has the wherewithal to fucking say that, besides me? And if you are subscribed to my Resonator Zen channel, I've said this, I've talked about this on that channel. The second incident that really shaped my dark perception of the world is something called, I call it the Abel incident. You can look it up if you really want to. I was involved in a propane explosion. That's what that whole thing revolved. That the Abel incident is propane explosion where me and my family were home and got fucked up, and it didn't really affect me right off the bat. It sort of stayed clandestine, and it. I don't think that was smart because I didn't want to go to a psychiatrist because I didn't want to have to have them say, oh, you're insane, or you're depressed, or all this other shit. And I'm changing that about now. I'm going to a counselor to sort of get the morose and the dark, the sadness, I guess, the depression under control, because it sort of has ruled my life for a while. I mean, I dealt with PTSD on my own. There's a story where I'm at a friend's. I'm with a bunch of friends at a fireworks display, and this is a couple months after, maybe a year after or so after Abel. It was a while ago. I was with a bunch of friends at a fireworks display, and I'm like, oh, won't affect me. And the fireworks start going off, and it just reduces me to a pile of fucking jelly. And that was the first time and the only time that really ever affected me as much as I thought it was going to. It really did fuck my brain up, and it it made me more reticent than most people. And I'm trying to get that under control. I tried doing that by myself, and it was not a happy time. It scared me, and it scared my friends, and it scared my family, as it probably should have. And I should have went to a psychiatrist before then, but I was so dead set against it because I was afraid that it was going to change the fundamental personality of me, and I've gotten over that. Um, so this is my storybook where I write stories. This is the longest running one. Usually my stories I get a couple pages in and I stop. And this is the one it's the longest running. I haven't worked on it in a while. I mean, things falling the fuck apart. But this is a story that's sort of autobiographical. Um, if the story is pretty dark and all, and I'll go more in depth into it in the next video. But I'll just say this: it is sort of autobiographical, and it is a pretty dark story, like most of my things. And I'll go into my poetry in the next one too. But this is Citizen Rez saying peace out and peace be with you and walk with peace.